The air in Egypt was thick with tension. The land, once the pride of Pharaoh's kingdom, was now a broken shadow of its former glory. Crops lay in ruins, water had turned to blood, and disease had struck both man and beast. The gods of Egypt had remained silent, offering no aid to their suffering people. Yet Pharaoh's heart remained as hard as stone. He would not bow to the God of Israel. But something was coming. Something dreadful. Moses and Aaron, messengers of the Almighty, once again stepped into Pharaoh's grand palace. The torches flickered as they walked, their presence a reminder of the relentless God who had already sent wave after wave of destruction. The room grew silent as Pharaoh's cold eyes locked onto them. Moses spoke, his voice carrying the weight of divine authority. "Thus says the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, how long will you refuse to humble yourself before me? Let my people go, that they may serve me. But if you refuse, behold, tomorrow I will bring locusts into your territory." Exodus 10 verses 3-4. Pharaoh's advisors exchanged uneasy glances. The word locusts alone sent a shiver down their spines. They knew what such a plague could do. The next morning, the horizon darkened, not with storm clouds, but with a living, writhing mass. Locusts. The wind had shifted, carrying the insects from the east, just as Moses had stretched out his staff over the land. What began as a whispering hum soon became a deafening roar. The locusts fell upon Egypt like a curse made flesh. They covered the face of the whole earth, so that the land was darkened, and they ate every herb of the land and all the fruit of the trees which the hail had left. So there remained nothing green on the trees or on the plants of the field throughout all the land of Egypt. Exodus 10 verse 15. Farms were stripped bare in minutes. Every remaining crop, every leaf, every blade of grass was consumed. The people ran in terror, covering their faces as the creatures poured through windows, clung to their clothes, and even found their way into Pharaoh's palace. Finally, Pharaoh could take no more. In a panic, he summoned Moses and Aaron. His voice trembled with something that sounded almost like regret. "I have sinned against the Lord your God and against you. Now therefore, please forgive my sin only this once, and entreat the Lord your God, that he may take away from me this death only." Exodus 10 verses 16-17. Moses did as Pharaoh asked. He prayed, and the Lord sent a mighty wind that carried the locusts into the Red Sea. But as soon as the danger passed, Pharaoh's heart hardened once more. He would not let the Israelites go. Without warning, Moses stretched out his hand toward the heavens. The sun, which had shone mercilessly over Egypt for centuries, suddenly vanished. Darkness fell. It was not the cool darkness of night nor the soft glow of twilight. This was a thick, suffocating blackness, one that pressed upon the people like an unseen weight. And there was thick darkness in all the land of Egypt for 3 days. They did not see one another, nor did anyone rise from his place for 3 days. Exodus 10 verses 22-23. Torches and lamps flickered but gave no light. It was as if the darkness swallowed even the flames. People groped blindly, unable to move, unable to work, unable to live. The land was paralyzed. Only in the homes of the Israelites was there light. Blinded by fear but unwilling to surrender, Pharaoh called Moses once again. His voice, once arrogant, now carried the weight of desperation. "Go, serve the Lord, only let your flocks and your herds be kept back. Let your little ones also go with you." Exodus 10 verse 24. But Moses stood firm. "Not a hoof shall be left behind," he declared. Exodus 10 verse 26. Pharaoh's rage ignited. He could no longer tolerate Moses' demands. His voice thundered through the darkness. "Get away from me. Take heed to yourself and see my face no more. For in the day you see my face, you shall die." Exodus 10 verse 28. Moses did not flinch. His final words echoed like a prophecy of doom. "You have spoken well. I will never see your face again. Exodus 10 verse 29. Pharaoh had chosen his fate. The final and most terrible plague was coming. As Moses left the palace, he knew that the next judgment would be unlike anything Egypt had ever seen. The land had already suffered greatly, but Pharaoh's defiance had sealed its fate. The final plague was coming. And with it, the most heart-wrenching night in Egypt's history. Would Pharaoh finally bow before the God of Israel? Or would his stubbornness bring destruction upon his own people? Only time would tell. Exodus 10 is a chapter of warning, a reminder that defying gods will only lead to destruction. Despite the devastation, Pharaoh hardened his heart again and again. He saw the power of God, yet refused to humble himself. It is a lesson for all: when God speaks, will we listen? Or will we, like Pharaoh, let pride lead us to ruin?